Good evening. My name is Yannis Kandelis. I'd like to welcome you to the 4th Hellenic Inventor Awards ceremony. I would like to welcome Mr. Adonis, the Minister of Development and Investments, Mr. Papakonstantinou, Alternate Minister of Development and Investments, Mr. Skylakakis, Deputy Minister of Finance, Mr. Luka Papademos, Academic and President of the Biochemical Research Foundation of the Academy of Athens, MPs, and also the inventors who will be conferred awards tonight. This is a ceremony which is of particular value. It's a symbolic value, and it coincides with the 100 years of the first patent being registered back in 1920 in Greece. This was a washing machine which was manually operated by Ioannis Milto from Chicago and Mr. Krikos, a merchant from Athens. Since then, a long time has gone by. In Greece, we've had 76,000 applications for a patent. The inventors, with their creations, big and small, thanks to their intelligence, make our lives better. And this is why we owe them gratitude. But we need to support their work, particularly in the time we live in, where startup enterprises are a lever for growth, a lever for creativity, and they're based on a good idea, an innovative, pioneering, groundbreaking idea, and this can help Greece, it can help our economy, it can help our society. So we're talking about cash prizes, and there are 3 categories of inventors, and I'd like to say that this was either the research center or university, or as people working in an SME, or as independent natural persons. So we're talking about a lot of different sciences here, for example, renewable resources, electromagnetic energy, orthodontics, agri-food, business, whereas they come from different parts of Greece like Attica, Thessaloniki, Ioannina, Patras, and Rethymno, Crete. OBI, which is the only qualified body in Greece to register patents, is responsible for industrial designs and also trademarks and their protection, together with the Ministry of Development, and they're responsible for the organization and conferment of the awards. This is why I will now invite the Minister of Development and Investments, Mr. Adonis Georgiadis, who will address the ceremony, who will address the audience on this occasion. Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, fellow ministers, former minister, Mr. Lukas Papademos, president of the foundation, professors, ladies and gentlemen, I feel it is a great joy and honor for me to be here today. Now, regarding the Academy of Athens and the Foundation for Biochemical Research, well, I've known this for a long time, and I know many of you have seen me here in the past. And I was very close to the late founder of the foundation, late Professor Skalkeas, and he honored me with his friendship. We had actually established close collaboration while I was Minister of Health. And I had then tried in difficult times to support the foundation in every way possible. So it so happens that when Kyriakos Mitsotakis asked me to take over the Ministry of Development and Investments on the same day, we then took under our auspices the former General Secretariat for Research and Innovation. And again, we were to supervise this foundation of the Academy of Athens. So as minister in the Ministry of Development and Investments, I continued my close collaboration with this foundation. And I'd like to address the staff and the members of the board through you, President, my heartfelt congratulations on behalf of the Greek state for the excellent work that has been carried out by this biochemical foundation of the Academy of Athens, but also the work it offered during the COVID-19 pandemic, because here a lot of research was being conducted to detect the COVID, and it was a way to deal with the pandemic. In the midst of the pandemic, it came to be that the vision of Professor Skalkeas had a great significance. It was important for Greece to invest in this foundation, and it's as if we get something in return, meaning the foundation supports the state and public health in these difficult times, and this is why you should be recognized for your invaluable work. I also feel it is a great pleasure for me as a former minister to see how much has been done in this foundation. We know that there's a lot going on with the EBRD right now, and together with my colleague, Mr. Papakonstantinou, we've been working on this. And of course, we've also got excellent collaboration with Mr. Dimas. So we've come to friendly territory. And here we are to host an important ceremony by another important organization, OBI, the Organization of Industrial Property. Mr. Chroni and CEO of OBI, Mr. Kanellopoulos, we thank you for the invitation and for the initiative that you undertook to organize this award ceremony and to confer the awards to people who've worked hard. They've actually worked hard. They applied to the OBI for their patent, and they competed against others in order for their idea to materialize over time, but also for it to gain recognition at a European level as well, because this is a course, a journey which goes on and on in order for you to come to the end of the journey. So on the occasion of the awards ceremony, the Hellenic Inventor Award ceremony, and I'd like to repeat that the OBI, and I'm going to address Mr. Skylakakis, who's very good with math. And this is why he was involved in the RRF and the General Accounting Office. So if you look at the numbers, the figures of the OBI, you see that there's been significant progress in the last year. We had set goals to increase patents. So we're going from strength to strength. This was not self-evident. Unfortunately, Greece was well below the EU average in patents. And this was rather absurd, because here we have a very good level of education in Greece, and we're also very inventive as a people. It's just that the regulatory framework was not the best in order for people to be able to apply for a patent recognition. And we see that the OBI and the administration is working very hard on this. And I'd like to say that the cash prizes and the awards are support by OBI to people who decide to dedicate their work and do something that is useful for society at large. I'd like to say that the Ministry of Development and the political leadership, not just myself, but Mr. Nikos Papathanasis, my closest, if you like, associate, the alternate minister. So we brought about an important reform. This is a reform that's been discussed for decades, as we heard from the trade unions in the Ministry of Development. This idea was first proposed in the 1990s. It did not materialize till now. It was voted just a few weeks ago in the Greek Parliament, and I'm talking about the transfer of the trademarks responsibility from Ministry of Trade to OBI. So this is a vote of support, a practical way for us to show our appreciation for OBI and the role that it can play in the coming years in Greece. You know, of course, that one of the great visions of Kyriakos Mitsotakis, the Prime Minister, but also a vision that we all share now in Greece, is that Greece slowly can become a country of innovation, a country which will play a leading role in the modern world. We change at such a fast pace, but we also offers great opportunities. So part of our visions for the future of Greece is the renewal of the industry. And we know that for many decades it was in decline, great decline. But in the midst of the pandemic, we all also understood in the worst way possible that it's bad for the economy just to base itself on the tourism sector. We love tourism, but we just can't have one pillar to boost the economy, to prop it up. We need industry as well. And this is why we need to protect industrial property and we need to protect patents. So we're talking about innovation, we're talking about industry. So OBI has a leading role to play in all of this. And let me say before closing that all these years, and this is something that was seen in Parliament, the OBI with its management, its past management and its staff has shown great professionalism. It has been dedicated. It always was focused on the goal. And there were never problems expressed by anyone. Everybody believes that this is a prestigious organization. And this is something that it has managed to achieve, not just now, but in the past as well. And of course, we try to continue this great tradition and to boost its reputation further. So here we have the ceremony today. The awards will be conferred on the finalists. This is an institution which will become known to us all, and it will become an incentive so that people can work hard in order to try and come up with ideas that can be implemented in practice. And sometimes this leads to great successes. And I wish great success not just to the finalists who will receive the prize, but also everybody else who has applied to the OBI for patent. Thank you very much, and I wish you a very nice awards ceremony. Thank you.
Ευχαριστούμε πολύ τον κύριο Γεωργιάδη.
Let us thank Mr. Georgiadis, and now the floor goes to the Director General of the Hellenic Industrial Property Organization, or OBI, Mr. Panagiotis Kanellopoulos.
Δύσκολο να διαδέχεσαι τον Υπουργό στο βήμα.
It's tough to actually be the successor on this podium of the Minister of Development and Investment, Mr. Georgiadis, President of the Biomedical Research Foundation of the Academy of Athens, Lucas Papademos, distinguished guests. To save time, allow me not to name each and every one of you and greet you personally. Nonetheless, I'd like to welcome you at the 4th Hellenic Inventor Awards ceremony, which is hosted in the hospitable premises of the IIBEAA, or the Biomedical Research Foundation of the Academy of Athens. The competition was serious, and so are the results. The results were evaluated by a committee. The evaluations committee consists of distinguished scientists whom I would like to thank. The Prime Minister, Kyriakos Mitsotakis, in 2003 was a member of our evaluation committee. At the time, he was an executive working for the National Bank of Greece. Now, you will find out for yourselves that these awards touch on patents that are very innovative, because patents are interwoven with innovation, and that's why we as an organization decided to revive and restore the institution of these awards that had been abandoned for many years. Everyone around us talks about innovation, so now we cannot afford to be silent, since we are the one that protect innovation and shield and project it. And now this award ceremony coincides with the 100 years of the centenary since the first patent. 1988 was actually the most important year, the landmark year for us. It was established by the late Professor Georgiadis. Since its inception, our organization is here to provide everyone with high-quality services. We have highly qualified staff, fully automated processes and procedures, and we are well-known abroad. In 2020, despite the unheard-of pandemic, as the Minister just said, the year was a year when we had the number of patents skyrocket in Greece, and there was more research. At the same point in time, the Academy of OBI was established, and the municipality of Thessaloniki was the leading player among the network of cities that was established following a relevant campaign. 2021 is yet another landmark year in terms of intellectual property and rights. Adonis Georgiadis, and generally speaking, the Ministry of Development and Investments decided that patents would be handled by and managed by the OBI. And so after many years, when efforts were being made, but they did pay off now, intellectual property is getting its own home, if you will. And this is the case in the overwhelming majority of countries the world over, and also in Europe. So this is an important reform that OBI will be supporting thanks to its know-how and expertise, and we are going to bring this to a successful conclusion. And I know we're running late, so let me, by way of conclusion, extend my thanks to Mr. Dimitris Chronis and all the BOD members, including the people working for the organization, for our excellent cooperation over the past 1 year and a half. I'd like to wish you all the best, and may you enjoy this evening.
And we will prepare the stage for the leading actors, the protagonists, those who were innovative, those who tried with their creation to work hard and were able to succeed. Let me present Mr. Vagelis Papakonstantinou, President of the Inventions Evaluation Committee. He's a professor at the Law School of the University of Brussels. He has specialized in cybersecurity, protection of intellectual property, and I think this is the link to the OBI. And I would like to give the floor to Mr. Vagelis Papakonstantinou, who will talk about the inventors and their inventions. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. On behalf of the Evaluation Committee, I would like to warmly thank Mr. Papademos, President of this foundation and former Prime Minister, the representatives of the government, and those of you who honored us with your presence. Your presence is a great honor for us, for the award ceremony and those participating in the award ceremony. But it is all very important because it shows to the greatest extent policy from the point of view of the political leadership how important it is to be innovative for Greece. So this is not something self-evident. The significance attached by the state to organized creativity. William Lee in 1600 invented the loom, the industrial loom, and he went to the royal family and asked for the patent to be applied. But the queen said, if I grant you a patent, what will happen to my poor subjects who deal with the same activity and who work with a loom? Of course, the social aspect of patents is something that comes back to the fore again and again. And this was something that we understood with the vaccines and the patents. But in any case, we've gathered here today to organize organized innovation. And here we're using the official system regarding the granting of patents. So now let us move on to the awards proper, and something that the winners are waiting for with great enthusiasm. And I'd like to say there are three categories. One is research centers, the other is SMEs, and the last one is independent natural persons. This is how we will announce the winners, but let me say that there is no ranking order. We will do this by chance. We will just announce the names without there being a ranking order. And let us begin with research centers and universities, with the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki. That's the first one we will announce. So the patent method to create an integrated Plasmo Photonic Biosensor and method of use. The inventors are Mr. Dimitris Tsiokos, Mr. Nikolaos Pleros. These two are present, the two inventors, Mr. Georgiadis, Mrs. Dimitra Kedzaki, and Mrs. Anna Lena Giseke. We will watch a short video which has been prepared. It's a 1-minute video. The patent will be presented, and then I will call to the stage the inventors and Mr. Papademos, the president of the Biochemical Research Foundation of the Academy of Athens, who will confer the award. on the winners. But let's watch the video for now. Thank you. Ever since I remember myself, I always wanted to work with technology. In my professional career, I always tried to find what had not been discovered, what many people feared. I dream of a world where technology will serve and not threaten mankind. Our invention started with an idea on a piece of paper at the Aristotle University of Athens. Mr. Pleros was with me on this journey, and it's all on a chip. So we can now say with great confidence that everything we've known so far may change regarding how to deal with dangerous diseases, because we have an analysis of many biomarkers without blood sampling, thus allowing quick diagnosis, timely diagnosis, and a more effective treatment. So this is the mission of Bioloom, which is a startup. So Greece can move from research to innovation. It can do it. So OBI did exactly that. It contributed through this award to moving from a technology which was state-of-the-art to a useful tool. Very nice. All the videos are very impressive. Don't worry, everybody will be done justice. I now would like to call to the stage Mr. Lukas Papademos, the president of the Biochemical Research Foundation, Mr. Tsiokos and Mr. Pleros. Thank you very much. Dimitris Tsiokos, Nikos Pleros. Mr. Papadimou, you can stand right here. And then you can speak. You can speak into this microphone. Yes, thank you. Mr. Dimitrios Tsiokos is responsible at the University of Thessaloniki, and he is the CEO of Bioloom, which is a startup, and we saw it on the video. And Mr. Nikolaos Pleros is from the IT department. He's a professor at Aristotle University, and he's head of the Windfoss lab. I will first give the floor to Mr. Papademos, the president. Yes, please. Thank you very much, ministers, President and CEO of OV, select guests, and select investors, distinguished investors. Please allow me a brief address before the conferment of the first prize. I would like, first of all, to express my joy to participate in this award. The award that confers prizes on Greek investors. This is an institution that has been established by OB and the Ministry of Development, aiming at promoting innovation. And as the minister quite rightly said, innovation is a lever for the dynamic growth of our economy. And let me also thank you for the fact that this award ceremony is being carried here at the Biochemical Research Foundation. As the minister said, I would like to reiterate the fact that the role and the importance of research and innovation in achieving sustainable and solid growth has been proven worldwide. It is recognized worldwide and has been fully supported by the Greek state. So the many actions, and these actions include this award ceremony this evening. I'd like to say a few things about the Biochemical Research Foundation. I believe that it promotes innovation and research with its work, and I'd like to thank the Minister for evaluating our work, our research work in such a positive light, and particularly during these times, we're talking about the management of the pandemic. I'd like to add that with a new investment activities that are underway of our foundation. We would like to further contribute to developing research and innovation in Greece. More specifically, we would like to help make use of research in order for us to boost growth and employment. I just would like to cite an example. I'm not going to take a long time. I will be brief and succinct because today's evening is dedicated to our award winners. So among other actions that are underway, there's an investment, a huge investment. It has to do with the construction and provision of equipment for a new building. A new building which is linked to the expansion of research activities of our foundation in medical accuracy, precision medicine rather, excuse me. And this is carried out in the framework of a PPP, public-private partnership, and we're working very well with the Ministry of Development for this matter. This is being financed by the EBRD, the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. I believe that because of these new investment and research activities, and there are many, I don't want to mention them all, but I believe that through these activities, our foundation will offer even more in the future for the development of research and innovation and the linking of research results to the economy, the main aim, the ultimate goal being stronger growth, more solid growth, and higher employment levels. I have nothing further to add. As I said, tonight is dedicated to our award winners, to our investor, and I'd like to, the inventors, and I'd like to thank them for their achievements, and I'd like to wish them the very best of success in their work and in further utilizing their innovative work. Now, if the foundation can help, we are at your disposal, and we would like to provide support to your future activities. Thank you for your attention. Thank you very much, Mr. Papademos. We will keep this promise, and we will make use of the promise you just made. And now we see that we have the younger generation, so we'd like to give the inventors the floor. Could you say a few words? I just want to give you an idea. Just imagine what it would be like to have a chip, a diagnostic test, which could detect and which could measure accurately with great precision hundreds of biological substances through a very small drop of blood, infinitesimally small drop of blood. This invention paves the way for this goal to be achieved. This is our vision. And we'd like to warmly thank OB, the Evaluation Committee, for recognizing the value of what we have done. It is a recognition of our hard work at the Aristotle University of Athens. We've been working hard for many years. But at the same time, this is something much more than just an award. It's a boost. It has given us a boost. It has injected us with enthusiasm in order for us to be able to utilize this idea, put it to full use. We've already started with Bioloom. This is a startup company. Our work is very hard, and we needed this award more than ever. I would also like to thank the scientists, the people who continue their work through our company, who are working as we speak. I'd like to thank the Evaluation Committee once again for their decision. And as Michalis said, Dad, we're going to go get the cup, just like in a football championship. Yes. This is what Michalis, my son, said. I'd like to say a few things as well. It is a great joy, a great pleasure for me to be here this evening, representing a university which has a great reputation. And we've been in the headlines lately, but not for such good reasons. So today, it's an opportunity for us to show that Greek public universities has the ability to rise to the occasion and to do something that is very important. And it is not good for us to be cast in a negative light. And Aristotle University of Thessaloniki is the university which I represent. And we've seen it on TV in the last few months, and we have become subject to attacks. And we've seen various pictures on TV which are not good. They don't do good to our reputation, to the state and the university. So I'd like to say that those students who participated in these incidents, well, some of them will soon be members of our research teams. And I know that the students in my team could easily have been amongst those students involved in the incidents. And the reason is the following. Doubt is a primary source of new knowledge. So we cannot stop young people to contest the status quo. So I'd like to dedicate this prize to the right to doubt, the right to contest, and I'd like to thank my students who helped us become a lab and to be able to receive such awards, and those who might stand trial after the incidents in the month of February at the Aristotle University, and I hope that some of them will soon become members of our team in the future, in a couple of years from now. Thank you very much. Don't worry, Aristotle University is not doubted. It's of a very high caliber, so there is no doubt as to its efficiency. Thank you very much.
The second patent, the second invention that is receiving an award tonight. Again, the order is random. Electrically conductive hydrogels of polythiophene and sodium acrylate for bioelectronic applications. And I hope I've read it right, says the speaker. The inventors are Mr. Vasilios Grigoriou, Christos Chochos, and Michail Spanos. The award will be conferred by the Minister of Development and Investments, Mr. Adonis Georgiadis, and I would like to have Mr. Georgiadis and the inventors with me up here on stage. All three of them are here, unless I'm wrong. Pray forgive me, Mr. Minister. Yes, indeed. We have a video before we start the presentation. Yes, I will keep you on stage. You're right. This way. I was born and raised in Trikala, Thessaly. My dad is a physician, and I think I fell in love with science since my childhood because of him. I have always been curious about the world. I have been attracted by everything that is innovative or experimental, anything that has some sort of innovation or discovery. Throughout my career, both in Greece and in the United States of America, I've tried to create new constructions, and I believe in teamwork, in audacity, in persistence and patience. This patent counts on an idea that came from a team from the National Foundation for Research. We proceeded thanks to Siemens. This is a new innovative material for technological applications that call for electrical conductivity using plastic materials. We believe that this is a patent that will change forever the next generation of bioelectronic applications. OBI is always there for us, and the contribution of OBI was instrumental in terms of getting the patent granted on a national and international level. I believe that Greece can and wishes to improve its competitiveness thanks to technology. It also wants to tackle important challenges involving life sciences and also managing climate change. I'm dreaming of a world that will be looking forward, and I believe that Greece can be a dynamic parameter within this effort. Thank you, says the moderator. Mr. Minister, I changed the order of the presentation. Let's not have another speech made by me, says Mr. Georgiadis. Mr. Gregoriou is the president of the National Foundation for Research. He's also in charge of art and technologies. Mr. Christos Chokos is working for the Institute of Technology of the same foundation. And Mr. Spanos is a future PhD holder at the same institute, and he is working for quality control and at a company, Terracon. So let's give the floor to the three gentlemen, says the minister. I'll be very brief, says Mr. Grigoriou. Let us, for our part, also thank the Inventions Evaluation Committee. It's a great distinction and it's an honor. Personally speaking, I wish to extend my thanks to the hundreds of peers and colleagues of mine with whom I've been working for the past 35 years, both in Greece and abroad. I've worked with them in labs and also at the level of companies. I believe I am a very lucky man. It's only through teamwork that we can get such progress. As the previous speaker said, and the minister for that matter, the most important thing is, of course, you see, technology is happening. We have great facilities, great infrastructure, great people. And as I've said before, I myself believe it's a matter of psychology and mentality. I believe that we can get things done from here, right here, from Greece. I think it shows. And this is a key word. Technology is, innovation is. It's not just a catchy word, but indeed innovation is going to foster employment and it will provide new impetus to the country. And all three of us wish to donate to the National Research Foundation the amount of money that is being given to us tonight. We will give it to our research foundation because we need more equipment. Let me say, says the minister, that when the Prime Minister decided that the Secretariat would be moved over to the Ministry for Development, the reason why he moved it and gave it to this ministry is because we indeed need to intertwine research with the market and innovation. This is an award that indeed proves the validity of his intention. Thank you.
Σας ευχαριστώ.
Thank you very much. These were the awards conferred to educational institutions, and now we are going to discuss the awards given to small and medium-sized enterprises. They are the lever of growth for Greece. And innovation is important in this field, in the field of SMEs. It's critical. And so the first such award goes to Kypselotechniki.
So the title is Mobile Detachable Base for a Beehive, and the inventors are Mr. Vasilios Kostamenas and Mr. Michail Vagelis. So let's watch the video now. I saw the sunlight for the first time in Metsovo, in Epirus. Ever since I was a young boy, I was always thinking of new things. So being a pioneer is something I always felt like doing. In this invention, we thought of the difficulties that our customers had and their wish to do something more. So we wanted to cater to their wish. So this is a mobile base, and it will save time for beekeepers, but also help them achieve high quality products. So with our gold, which is honey actually, that's the gold of the beehive. So OBI, the Industrial Property Organization, has supported us all the way. It helped us with our products and helped us become more outward looking, and we were able to go to market. So Greece has an open way, that of decentralization. So we're talking about small centers all over Greece. So this is a road that is paved with research and innovation. That's the tarmac. So what we want is big and small things that are important, things that are less important. So we want to use the people, which are a rare type of people, but also nature, and come to great results. So the prize will be awarded by Mr. Nikos Papathanasis, alternate Minister of Development and Investors. He will confer the award. I would also invite to the stage the two inventors, Mr. Vagelis Kostamenas and Mr. Vagelis. They traveled from Metsovo to be here this evening. Please come forward. As you saw from the video, Mr. Vagelis and Mr. Vagelis Kostamenas were born in Anilio Metsovou, a remote village. Their company, Kypselotechniki, has been successful, and it has been constructing since 1983 beehives. Minister, you have the floor. Thank you very much, Minister, Mr. Georgiadis, alternate Minister, Mr. Skylakakis, Deputy Minister, Mr. Dimas. Dear President and former Prime Minister of the Biochemical Research Foundation of the Academy of Athens, ladies and gentlemen, President and General Manager of OBI, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great joy and honor for me to be here amongst you this evening. First of all, because I'm in my natural environment, because we are in the ministry. And here what we're trying to do is carry out this PPP. I think that the activities of the foundation are very important, and we feel as a Ministry for Development to help so that this important work will come to fruition. The work that you're ready to embark upon in this beautiful place, in these premises. So we're here to confer awards upon two inventors, and I would like all of you to look around you and see what you encounter on a daily basis, meaning everything that you see around you is an invention. LED, the lights you see, all the devices around you, all these are inventions. What does this mean? That inventions and creativity have to do with the quality of our life. It's got to do with what we expect in order for our lives to become better. So we have the people being inventive. That's part of our life. And on the other hand, we see that Greece and the state want to change the production model. We want to have Industry 4.0, which has a lot of innovation and technology elements, and we want this to become part and parcel of our life, and we want this to be a part of the economy of the country. So we support research and innovation, and we have SMEs and the companies represented by the inventors. So SMEs are the backbone of the Greek economy. They make up 99% of the Greek companies. So we need to support SMEs. The state has this role to play. This is the mandate we've been given by the Prime Minister. So, dear gentlemen, I'd like to congratulate you on your award. I want you to continue down this path. I would like you to move on with your invention and create it. And here we're talking about the agri-food sector. Anyway, it's a tongue twister, says the gentleman. So we're talking about agri-food business, and this is very important for society and for our daily lives. And thank you, and the best of success in your work. Thank you very much. Would you like to say something? Now the floor has been given to the inventors. Honorable Minister, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your presence here this evening. I don't want to tire you. I will be very brief. All people are creators, some more, some less, provided we make use of this potential. But because in order for us to actually create something, we need to be persistent and insistent until the time comes that our vision will materialize. And when we all work together and join forces, this will help the economy, organized economy. Thank you very much.
Ευχαριστούμε.
Thank you very much.
Η επόμενη εφεύρεση που θα βραβευτεί εξίσου στην κατηγορία
The next invention, again, an SME-related award, concerns an automatic wind and PV energy storage system for uninterrupted electricity generation and energy autonomy. The inventor is Mr. Kanellopoulos. Let us watch the video. I was born in Rio, Patras, and ever since I can remember myself, I always wanted to solve problems to improve everyone's quality of life. This particular invention is changing everything we knew so far about energy autonomy. It's a real revolution. It's pertinent to green growth and the green revolution. Every wind farm or PV park, by using our own unit, will instantaneously become a high-quality energy storage system, regardless of whether there is, at that time, wind or sun. OBI was instrumental in terms of acknowledging and recognizing our long work, which was tiresome. It helped the world of engineering to solve this difficult problem in a very economical manner. Transitioning over to green energy is feasible now with a zero carbon footprint. Greece doesn't really need fossil fuel. I'm dreaming while my eyes are still open and I can see a Greece that will be energy independent. And I'm dreaming of a world where the provision of energy will be just a public good that will be made available to everyone. The award will be presented by Theodoros Kyllakakis, Deputy Minister of Finance. Please join me on stage, Mr. Minister, and let me also kindly ask Kanellopoulos, the inventor, to join me on stage. Dear colleagues, dear ministers, Mr. President of the Foundation, former Prime Minister, dear representatives of OBI, first off, let me thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here at this very wonderful foundation, and thanks to PPPs, it's going to become even better. And so this is a great idea. It's a great idea to actually present Greek inventors with awards. Our effort, and I'm speaking about the government as a whole, and as the previous speakers also said, our effort is aimed at paving new ways in order for the next phase of economic growth and development to count more heavily on research and innovation. But inventions as such, inventing things, is a first step towards achieving growth. Of course, there's another step and then another will follow suit. I'm actually talking about having inventions introduced into the market and then having inventions conquer the market. And unfortunately, in this highly competitive world, we can take nothing for granted, especially when we're talking about inventions, because you're not the only one who's moving about this sphere and is creative and is doubting about things. There are billions of people the world over, and we share the same approach in terms of creativity. And so the ones that are indeed present here tonight are the protagonists within the confines of our own work and effort. And we, in terms of our economic and development venture, we are here to provide all innovative ideas, all innovative people like you with more opportunities to make the next step. The real effort is starting, as far as we are concerned, on the day after receiving the award. And we will be providing you with tools, and we will be realistic, and we will present you with tools, many of which will be related with the NSRF. A handful will be associated with the RRF, and concerning the loans, for instance, in close collaboration with the Ministry for Development, we have decided we will give a particularly high sum to innovation and research in order for us to encourage more activities that will be interesting to the market. 500 million will go to R&I, and especially 100 out of these 500 will go to startups. And we will be investing more and in different ways. I'm talking about loans, but what I also have in mind is grants and subsidies in order for SMEs, in order for the SMEs and the inventors to find the money to make the next step, to take the next step, because whether we like it or not, eventually the state will be making more money thanks to having such inventions conquer the market, because after all, this should be your and our next goal. And therefore, we need to have more people, new people working in the field of R&I. And we have to provide them at the same point in time with tools and equipment for them to take the next step. Congratulations. Let me commend you. And I'm sure that many of what we're going to find out about tonight, we've seen many inventions so far and more are coming up. Many of these will find funds for the day after. Thank you. The moderator says it's a happy coincidence that you are presenting Mr. Peters with his award. Mr. Peters is already active in this field. He has been working in the industrial field for 44 years. He has worked with international companies, both from Greece and abroad, with big companies that are building rockets, amongst others. I'd like to extend my thanks to the OBI. Dear friends, honorable ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank OBI by hosting this event, by having this competition. The Hellenic Industrial Property Organization has highlighted the importance and the gravity of inventions, and my invention in particular. This is a storage system that stores energy coming from any RES whatsoever, including the electric grid. So you can use this invention and you can have it established anywhere, and I insist on anywhere, even if you have minimum space, and the carbon footprint is 0. And this patent will allow you to store hundreds of gigawatts per hour, and this will get everyone energy generation that will be high. This can last for 60 years. If you want to maintain the system, you will just take a week. No other system out of those that are now in the market, no other system can do what this particular system can do for technical reasons. For instance, let me explain why. We have electrochemical accumulators, i.e. batteries, and even pump storage. For instance, the latter will give you energy when it's falling down because of gravity. It's a fake news in the sense that you can't have it work the other way around. You cannot compress water. And when it comes to cells and batteries, they have no scope to keep the grid going forever. Have a look around you. And what's happening actually is this. Entire industrial plants are being built, including here in Greece, thermoelectric plants, which will be up and running as fast as possible, or else the grid will fall apart. And this is polluting the environment, and therefore there's no green transition in essence. What we are talking about is an a la carte green transition that is not realistic or real. Pray forgive me for putting it in these terms, and then that will not change climate change, but our system, our suggestion will do away forever with the use of fossil fuel once and for all. That will be the end of fossil fuels. Why? Because our system can afford you scope to store huge quantities of gigawatts per hour, and that is a way to provide anyone with energy autonomy, regardless of whether you are using a mix of parks or you have independent systems. Everything can be done thanks to my system. This invention, this whole project, called for 14 years of research, 14 long years, and we managed to successfully use a chain of intelligent inventions that were paying off. They were put to the test. They had great results. First, we put everything to the test in 2013 in unseen funds, and then we tested everything here in Greece in 2015. The cost was in excess of 100,000 euros. And I used my own money. The state was not there to help. You are doing things so much better, Mr. Stylakakis. I know you are. And at the same point in time, or while we were doing these tests and we were running this race, because it was a race indeed, Germany was ahead of this race. DLR was in charge. I think you know what I'm talking about. Most of you are aware of what it means because most of you are well educated. In close collaboration with GE and MAM, Zubling and others, they were getting funds worth €500 million thanks to the Bundestag and the German finance minister. So they had a project and they were running ahead of everyone. And then the second in the row were the Americans. Stanford University set up a startup. They got funds through Bill Gates himself. He gave them $100 million. It took them 20 years and they got nowhere. And eventually in 2020, the Chinese Academy of Sciences made a public announcement claiming that it was building the same thing aimed at providing a solution to the same problem that we were working on. They said that the overall performance of this would be 22%, the thing they got, what they made. And they have published international papers to that end. Whereas my own invention has a yield rate of 91%. So, if this system is adopted and embraced, the cost is, let me rephrase that. We're talking about foreign products, foreign companies. Batteries and storage cells have a humongous cost. My invention's cost is just a fragment thereof, so the yield and the performance of it nonetheless is huge. There's no comparison. If Greece adopts this particular system, then there will be hundreds of new jobs at all levels. I'm talking about turbo engines. Don't be afraid when people talk about turbines or turbo engines. It's possible to build everything in Greece. I can assure you of that. Atlas Copper was asking me 6 million euro for every turbine, and I racked my brains in order to get everything done here. Everything is done here in Greece. It's possible to have everything done here. We can do it. My volition is to have everything made in Greece and everything sold through the Greek market. I've spent years abroad. I've lived in Europe. I'm at excellent terms with everyone outside of Greece, and everyone knows me. Let me seize this opportunity to extend my thanks to Mr. Sarandinos, Christos Sarandinos, a professor in Thessaloniki, as well as thermodynamics professor at the University of Patras, Mr. Dimos Georgiou. Let me also express my gratitude to Panagiotis Vovos from the Patras University. Last but not least, my assistant, a brilliant young scientist, Vasilios Moutsios, who is an aeronautics engineer who's working on his thesis. His thesis is pertinent to the sort of turbines that I'm talking about, and 200 bar pressure compressors. And these are elements that are working for my unit. Thank you so much.
Don't forget your prize. That's what you came here for. So don't forget to take your award. Thank you.
Είμαι σίγουρος ότι... Ναι. Ναι. Ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Thank you very much. So next category, independent natural persons, private individuals. And this is what we think of when we talk about inventors, people working in their own garage. So this person is this idea is of American origin, but this is how Apple was created and so on and so forth. And we hope that the same will happen to our inventors, the ones we are giving the awards to tonight. So the first invention, rare earth high entropy alloys and transition metal high entropy alloys as building blocks for the synthesis of new magnetic phases for permanent magnets. The inventor is Mr. Dimitris Niarchos. Let's watch the video. I was born in Messenia, and I came to Athens when I won the first award of the Mathematical Society before I became a physicist. Ever since I remember myself, I thought that physics was the means to improve the world around me. This invention, if I could describe it in one sentence, contributes to replacing rare metals like rare earths and cobalt for the production of a new series of permanent magnets which are important for e-mobility and energy production or energy generation. It will revolutionize everything we knew about metallic alloys, and this will mean that there will be a positive environmental and social, but also economic impact. I believe that Greece has the potential to go from strength to strength, to become a global player, and this will help in having the brain gain, not brain drain. I dream of a world where scientific knowledge will actually be the center of attention. It will be in the spotlight. It's very important for Greece and for the people working in research that OBI is working the way it does. It actually recognizes and rewards every idea that will help improve the world we live in. So this prize will be presented by Mr. Christos Dimas, Deputy Minister for Research and Innovation. I call Mr. Christos Dimas to the stage, but also the inventor is also invited to the stage, Mr. Dimitris Niarchos. Mr. Niarchos was a professor at Illinois, and he's also been on the board of Demokritos, where he created a lab And we're talking about permanent magnets and sensors. You have the floor, Minister. I will try to be very brief, Honourable Minister, Honourable alternate ministers, President of the Biochemical Research Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy, first of all, because I realized that Amanu Technologies is a company that's been included in Elevate Greece. But let me tell you the good news. In the Ministry for Development, under the guidance of Mr. Georgiadis, the Minister, but also the alternate Minister, Mr. Papakonstantinou, and of course Mr. Tsakidis, the Deputy Minister, we will propose legislation in the coming months, and there we will establish a new regulatory framework for innovators, and we see that there will be incubators, or spin-offs, and in this way a spin-off will be set up and they will know what happens if they want to close it down and not just set it up. It's a very important change, and this will soon be passed in Parliament. One of the initiatives that we've undertaken is Elevate Greece in the Ministry of Development. And in the past, they didn't know in Greece how many startups there were, what the turnover was, how many staff were employed. So there was no information. And if you have no information available, you can't be effective in the policy you draft. This is why we created a registry of startups. But it's not just a registry. Through the Elevate, we have business angels, investment angels. This is new. Stock options. This is also another novelty. But also an action through the NSRF, where we finance startups that have been affected by the COVID pandemic. And there's a lot to come from Elevate Greece. So expect a lot from us. So through the RRF, which is a unique opportunity, let me inform you that we've also organized important actions. I'm not just talking about the loans mentioned by Mr. Skylakakis, but also the subsidies. We're talking about applied research, basic research being supported, but also upgrading the equipment and the facilities and infrastructure of all research centers together with the European Investment Bank. We've worked with Mr. Papademos, the president of the Biochemical Research Foundation, so we're trying to make the most of the RRF. Thank you. Congratulations to the OBI for this wonderful initiative to organize these awards, and I wish you all the very best of success. Let me say, Minister, that what you said is very important, and this has to do with Bialoom, because I think that maybe you can look into that as well. I give you the floor. I give the floor to Mr. Niarchos. Thank you very much, Minister, alternate ministers, Deputy Minister, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great joy for me to be before you this evening, because the hard work is sometimes rewarded. And here I'd like to thank the OBI and the members of the Evaluation Committee for accepting my proposal and for actually considering it an innovation. I am a child of Demokritos. I'd like to thank the Research Center Demokritos. This was the place where many of the experiments took place. And I'd also like to thank my colleagues who worked with me so that idea could become a reality. And thus we were able to convince our colleagues that what we had in mind could actually work in practice. I didn't hear the others say this, but I'd also like to thank my family, my wife, my children, for putting up with me and for treating me with patience in the last 5 years. And I'll explain why 5 years. I was absent from home for many hours. So they didn't complain, though, and I'd like to thank them for that. So this award, and we're talking about my invention, also rather the idea was something that became more mature in the last 5 years, and I am at the Demokritos Center as an emeritus researcher. I put all my energy and all my my knowledge in order to achieve this goal, to develop something new. I don't want to do away with the old, but I wanted to create something completely new. You heard the description. We're talking about materials which play an important role in our lives over time. We're talking about the Bronze Age, the Iron Age, and also inox, stainless steel, semiconductors. So we're talking about sophisticated and state-of-the-art materials, which are the infrastructure for technological progress. So the idea we came up with, meaning myself and my colleagues, is that we need to expand the possibilities to create new materials. And we managed just that. We put together two parts of material science. So we see that there is a tenfold possibility of improving our lives. So emphasis is placed on permanent magnets, which are the basis for e-mobility. And e-mobility is something that is very current. And it's something of the future as well. Before closing, let me say two things, dear Minister. This award is the beginning of a new road, which is time-consuming but also very costly. Here we need the state to stand by our side and private individuals as well, so that this invention will not remain something on paper. We wanted to bring about economic results and results that are good for society as well. Now, the second thing I'd like to say, with the 50-year experience I've had in science since 1972, I was then a scholar at Demokritos, and I'd like to say that outside in society, but also in research centers, there are equally good ideas or even better ideas. But we lose these ideas. They go to waste. Why? Because people are not bold enough to apply for a patent and so on and so forth. So in a coordinated fashion, the state needs to create a system which will allow us to look at these good ideas and to help these people behind these ideas to promote them from a technological, scientific, and economic point of view. With these few words, I'd like to thank you. It was a great honor to receive this award, and I wish OB happy 100-year anniversary. We're not going to be around for the 200 years of OB, but it doesn't matter. Thank you very much for this honor, for this distinction.
Σας ευχαριστούμε.
Thank you, says the moderator. Last but not least, we have the sixth award. Again, we have independent and natural entities. The fact that this is the last invention means nothing. This is a random order. Now, in this particular case, we're talking about extraoral orthopedic device for the direct protection of the maxilla and the indirect protection of the mandible. The inventors are Mr. Stylianos Koutoglou and Mrs. Helen Koutoglou. Let's watch the video first. I was born in Hania, Crete, and ever since I can remember myself, I've been meaning to help out people. I'm always searching for the best. I settle for nothing less. My whole life is a venture to follow the words of Kazantzakis, get to where you can't actually get, or reach what you can't reach for. This is an extraoral orthopedic device with which the dentist can change the protraction of the maxilla and the indirect protection of the mandible, so we can deal with skeletal problems. It all started back in 2018 when I realized there was a gap there, a gap in terms of other oral orthopedic devices. OBI, or the Hellenic Industrial Property Organization, is a national team These were the people that helped me out. They read my mind of what was pointless, and they actually helped me do the right thing and deal with the useful stuff. For Greece, it's a one-way street to create and produce products that will be highly exportable, and we can follow the Swiss model. So I think this is the best way for us to move forward. So this last award will be presented by the President of the Administrative Council of the Hellenic Industrial Property Organization. Mr. Dimitris Chronik will present Mr. and Mrs. Koutsoglu with the award. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought Mrs. Koutsoglu was here. It's only Mr. Koutsoglu. Mr. Koutsoglu graduated from the University of Athens. He's also pursued his studies in Berlin and in Hanover. In 1996, he established his own practice in Rethymno. He was the president and the vice president of the Dentist Association in Rethymno. But first, over to you, Mr. Chronis. I, for my part, would like to thank each and every one who's been involved in this venture, in this project that's culminating with this event tonight. Let me also extend my thanks to the state for being there for us throughout. But let me also extend my thanks to Mr. Koutsoglu for being part of the organization. It's an honor for the organization to have such people of such caliber to be part of this competition. So thank you, and I would like to commend you warmly, you and your daughter alike. Congratulations for what you've done for the country. I do hope that this device will be useful for you to further capitalize on and utilize the work you've done. Mr. Koutsoglu says, good afternoon, everyone. The Minister for Development and Investments, former Prime Minister, ministers, President of the Hellenic Industrial Property Organization, General Director, President of the Inventions Evaluation Committee, ladies and gentlemen, I'm moved. This is an honor. This is a pleasure. I wanted to have the floor in order for me to extend my personal thanks to the Industrial Property Organization, and I wish to thank mostly the human resources behind OBI. People are actually the ones that make a difference at all times, regardless of technological progress. OBI has to be shielded, protected, and embraced by everyone, both the state and the people. It can act as a lever for growth. Indeed, our country is at the threshold of the third millennium of its modern history, or rather the third century of its modern history. And of course, we have innovative, excellent goods produced, made in Greece that can be fully respectful of the environment. And these are exportable products. It's a safe solution. It's the only way for our country to put food in the mouth of its children in order to do away with the brain drain. And this is the only way to provide everyone with vision and optimism and hope. Last but not least, I'd like to especially address the young people and urge them to do the following. I would urge them to try to excel and not compromise. They should work without compromise. They shouldn't confine themselves or limit their own dreams or aspirations. People walk, they fall, and then they get back up on their feet. And let's not forget that there's always crucifixion prior to having the resurrection. God bless you, and thank you very much.
Στο σημείο αυτό να ευχαριστήσω τον κύριο Βαχρήστο για
I'd like to thank the people. I'd like to congratulate Mr. Chrysoudi and his team for the wonderful videos we watched with our inventors. Congratulations to everyone. We wish our inventors the very best of success. And thank you all for coming to this wonderful Hellenic Inventor Awards ceremony. It's very important for the future of patents. It's important for innovation. And we hope that we will achieve everything we are out to achieve. So we have some refreshments. I know it's been a very hot day, and have a nice evening. Thank you all very much.